All right, so we were discussing this Marburg virus that supposedly is going to be the next pandemic. Bill Gates says it's going to be the next pandemic, and judging by the news reports on that I've been reading, that they're gearing up for this, and I believe it's going to be hitting hard very soon. So I just want to try to give a heads up to everybody what's going on. And a lot of this is my opinion from information I've been gathering through other reliable sources. So you can take it or leave it, but I'm going to tell you what I think is going on, and see if it's helpful to you. Bill Gates mentioned Marburg would be our next pandemic. Marburg is a rare but severe hemorrhagic fever in which there has only been 16 cases since 2005. So why would Bill Gates allude to the fact we are going to have have a Marburg pandemic when there's only been 16 cases since 2005? What does Mr. Gates know that we don't know? He seems to be pretty good at predicting these things. Now, they have already developed a PCR test for Marburg. We should all know by now that PCR tests can be cycle manipulated to fit the agenda of diagnosing any disease they're looking for. In other words, they don't diagnose properly, especially when the cycles are elevated. They'll look for viral protein 5, which most humans at any time have fragments of that protein when magnified after 40 plus cycles. So basically the PCR test doesn't work. It can be manipulated. You can't trust the PCR to tell us anything. They just use it as a tool. I don't believe a word about it. The inventor, Kerry Mullins, I studied it a while back, and it's a fraud. It's a fraud. So, and they're already getting ready to start implementing the PCR tests on the Marburg. Let's see. There are some scientific papers stating Marburg can be asymptomatically passed through bats, which is false. Has been disproven. I got that information from a scientist. I'll put more details on where some of this information is coming from in the description. So when they start telling us that these things can be passed asymptomatically, in other words, you don't have to have any symptoms and you have it. I mean, the writing's all over the wall. They can just look at you, and if they don't like you, they can say, you got, we ran the PCR on you, you got it. You go, I'm not even sick. Well, it's too bad. You got it. And we're going to remove you from society, So it's a game that they're playing. Now, they're fast-tracking a ricin-rich vaccine called Rivax for the purpose of Marburg. Rivax contains the toxin ricin, which has been used in terrorist attacks, and contains the adjuvant aluminum, known to be responsible for cognitive disorders like ADHD, autism, and Alzheimer's. So they're creating another toxic vaccine for the so-called Marburg virus that it's going to be poison. Well, we definitely want to avoid it at all costs. Now, how would they start this Marburg pandemic without spreading it? Okay, so we're assuming that they want another pandemic because, for one thing, they make billions and billions and billions of dollars from these things. Another reason is that they love controlling us and telling what to do, and they have these emergency laws that they can call an emergency and then tell us what to do, lock us down, make us do anything they want to do. And lastly, we know that they have they're obsessed on depopulating. They think the world's overpopulated. They want to depopulate the world. It was on the the stones that were blown up recently. Down to 500 million is what they want the population at. So they talk about it all the time, how they're trying to depopulate. And there's some evil people, central bankers and globalists, Klaus Schwab and Rothschild, Rockefeller, these guys, these cult, satanic groups that are running the scenes behind the show. And they really want to kill. They want to kill a massive amount of population. There's I don't know how many 100,000 guillotines that they've got stashed somewhere, and hundreds of thousands of containers that hold 40 bodies each, little plastic containers that were down in Alabama. I've seen videos of them. I'm not sure if they're still there or not. They're trying to keep that hidden because that's pretty scary. But they're preparing for a massive global reduction in population. That's what their aim. Their aim is. It's no secret. So yes, we believe that they created the COVID pandemic, whatever that was. I believe they just rebranded the flu and lied about all the stats and killed people in the hospitals with remdesivir and ventilators. The COVID protocols, what was killing people. And of course, if you died of any kind of anything at all, that they would write up as COVID on the death certificates, because the hospital administrators are being paid multi-million-dollar bonuses. And then they had all these fake commercials on television with the dancing nurses and telling us the hospitals were filled up when we'd go to the hospitals and they were empty. So they just lied and lied and lied about the whole thing. So yeah, so we believe they got another one coming. They want to kill us. And how are they going to pull this one off? Well, there's a great deal of information that people are being harmed by the injections more than anything else. And of course, they're dumping chemicals in the sky constantly, and they're poisoning our air and water and food. And then they've got, ever since COVID, the pandemic started 3 years ago, they've been increasing the rate of 5G towers. They've been popping up everywhere. When everyone was locked down, they were putting up these 5G towers. So we have an extreme amount of radiation pollution going on, and so this 5G can be used. They can increase the radiation to levels that it's going to be very, very harmful. I was talking about all the 5G and electromagnetic radiation pollution going on. It's even more than that. There are some notable scientists and medical community folks who are saying that electromagnetic 5G towers will interact with the injections, with the metals that they've been putting in the COVID injections and all the injections now, these mRNA injections with the nanoparticles, the various metals and graphene oxide, that if you read the patents are key to a lot of this. Those who read the patents are going to find out what's going on. And so if you look at the patents, these 5G will interact with the injections and can cause severe harm. That was a huge point that I wanted to bring up, so carry on. I'm gonna keep going. We all know that the COVID jabs have been creating myocarditis. They've been creating blood clots, a lot of bleeding and hemorrhaging, and a lot of people have been dying suddenly, a lot of illness just killing our immune systems. A lot of people are just getting sick with more. Cancer rates are up about 300%. Pretty much every illness is up, skyrocketed since the people started taking the COVID jabs and the boosters. And so actually the symptoms of Marburg are actually very similar to the symptoms caused by the COVID jabs in terms of bleeding and clotting. And let's see what they say. So we believe that that they're going to create a big scare with a few deaths. They're going to create a few deaths, and then they're going to run PCR tests, and they're going to say these people died of Marburg, and they're going to scare everyone into, and then they're going to say that they've got a new vaccine for it, and they're going to scare everyone into running and taking these new vaccines, these new toxic vaccines. And people are going to be, from the vaccines that they take, they're going to be they're going to be getting very sick from the vaccines, and it's going to be attributed to Marburg, so-called Marburg virus. And then they're going to run the show like they did previously with the COVID pandemic. They're going to label any death, any and all deaths as Marburg deaths, and cause a mass hysteria on all people who believe the mass propaganda behind it. People are going to be begging for vaccines for this new Marburg fear that they contrive. And just like Trump's Operation Warp Speed, the Marburg vaccine will be rushed through, untested, and approved. And this will be the super spreader vaccine with the ingredients that's going to kill most of the population. So that's the basic scenario that I believe is getting ready to happen. And I'm going to put some other information confirming some of this information that I've put out. I'll put in the description with some other from some people in the medical community, scientists who can confirm some of this information. A lot of it is just gut instinct. I mean, I saw all the same kind of thing going on with the COVID pandemic, and most of the population is still doesn't see any of it. So, I'm just putting out this warning out there, and you take it and leave it, take it or leave it. But I admonish anyone, don't take any injections for any reason, and don't trust these people, and trust in God. This kind of thing just brings me closer to God's plan of salvation for man.